But anyways, Secret House Against the World, hip hop album conversations and such. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys who are consistently here. Shout out to y'all. And support local independent hip hop. It's very free to just subscribe to our channel. I promise we don't spam you with the bullshit nonsense. And today we've assembled to discuss the one of the newest albums from Ka, Languish Arts, Brownsville rapper Ka, legendary Brownsville rapper Ka. This album is part of a 2-album surprise Beyonce style drop, right? Like he didn't say that it was coming out. We got a single and then they dropped. And so this joint is 10 songs, 28 minutes, and it's supposed to accompany the other album, which I think is about the same length, called Woeful Studies. Yeah. But I didn't listen to that one for this recording. I thought we were just doing Languish Arts.
I was wondering why you picked Languish Arts over Woeful
because
Studies.
It's on Spotify and the other joint is on. The other joint is not.
They are both on Apple Music, at least.
Yeah, I mean,
ooh, look at you, elitist.
Yeah.
I got Apple Music.
Hey, you get paid more from them, so.
Thank you.
Nah, but I wasn't. In this economy, I wasn't about to buy the Ka albums. They're quite expensive. He does that, but I like to support him. I've been a long time supporter of him. I figured since we recording on a Wednesday, before people go to work and whatnot, I figured just 2 albums would be straight. And I also figured one Ka album was going to be enough for Spade. Today, we're rocking with Languish Arts. I have recorded a review on this channel with my man Tokyo Cliff from the Tokyo Speaks podcast, my guy, and we did a Martyr's Reward last year. Yeah. And on that, I talk about my kind of experience with Ka. I've known about him since the Jizza album, Pro Tools, I think. He was on the track Firehouse, and I was like, oh, that guy's dope. And then later on, A Knight's Gambit, Honor Killed the Samurai, Grief Pedigree, he started bubbling up around the same time as like Rock Marciano with this really kind of minimal, subdued thing that's very popular now, like no drums. But he and Rock are kind of like the godfathers of that approach, and they are frequent collaborators. I think they were supposed to drop a joint called Metal Clergy. But yeah, I like
contemporary rock. I can see it now.
Oh yeah, I mean they the people. They people. But like rock is very much on like some real like pimping.
Yeah, this guy has better content than rock. Like this is a better version of rock. Now that I think about it.
Well, I mean, like they're both. I would say that they both do really. They do different things while being very similar.
Yes.
Like and the content
voices
is different.
Are also kind of similar. Like they've got that kind of gruff, very quiet, low key delivery.
Makes sense now.
Both of them are like old East Coast guys. Like Ka might be 50 years old.
Yes, he's 50.
He might be 50 years old. Okay, I know he was like 49 or some shit. Yeah, like he might be. So these are old New York cats who are cut from a different pedigree,
mature, seasoned.
You know what I mean? Yeah, this is the possibility of what you can do in hip hop. You don't got to be 21 to be dope. You know what I mean? To have a fan base.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean,
it's also dope that he like bubbled up and blew up in his 40s.
Word.
You don't really see that.
Like, still hope for you rappers out there.
Like
still hope.
Don't tell my nephew that. I mean,
other than
shout out
maybe like who like 2 Chainz. Like
yeah, it's like 40.
You don't really see that happening where it's like an older cat suddenly like comes along and gets all the respect that they've been due for a long time. But like Ka's been around since like the late 90s, right?
Yeah,
and then kind of had his like official introduction in
off
like
that Jizza album.
Off the Jizza album, which was like 2010. 2009,
maybe
something like
2009,
that.
Yeah.
And then over the 2010s, I got into him with Honor Killed the Samurai,
right?
Which was like 2014, maybe something like that.
I don't have the dates, but that sounds about right.
Yeah, mid 2010s.
Yeah.
First time I ever listened to Ka.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. What?
See, Spade, before we started recording together, I thought you were like a big lyrics guy because you told me that you like your favorite
Royce.
MC at the time was Royce.
Still is.
And a lot of cats that know Royce, they know Sky Zoo, they know Ka, they know Rock. I mean, of course, they probably Eminem and your Joyner Lucases and stuff like that. But I was kind of surprised you weren't familiar with this. But then again, this is a different trajectory that these guys are doing with Rock and what are it's even though they connect, like Rock is Flip Mode Squad and Busta rocks with this, but different.
See, it's funny when you say that, right? Because there is like levels to the lyricism and what people consider lyricism. Like me being from the South, I gravitated towards the lyricism of more contemporary guys like Nas. Like Nas is the guy people think are lyrical when you don't listen to Royce or other guys, right? So like if you ask me who's lyrical to me, I'll start giving you those guys like, oh, Nas is lyrical. Oh, Royce is lyrical.
Elzai.
Yeah, or like, oh, Eminem is lyrical when he wants to be. Like, that's my lane. When we start getting to underground, or Lupe Fiasco is a good one, right? I'm like, oh, Lupe is lyrical, and everybody will agree with that. Like, there's some crossover in the Venn diagram. People are like, oh, yeah, Lupe is, but what do you know about this guy? And I'd be like, I know about Kota, the friend. And y'all be like, nah, that ain't it, right?
I know one album, but yeah, he's not on my MySpace top.
What about Talib Kweli, guys? Is he lyrical? That's like my lane.
I mean, lyrics stick to your ribs. Yo, I mean, I do like Cobb, but I understand that there's a lot of people who don't necessarily rock with this because he has a tendency to, now he's completely removed himself from the drums. It's very spoken wordy style, and it's very like, it's almost like audiobook style with some of his work.
It's ambient.
Like Kane's Descendants is like super high level intertwining myth with modern day game, and it's like if you go through those lyrics lists, it's really deep and crazy. But yeah,
if you go like, because I can see Spade's face right now, and I think I know this is referring to like the beats and the production. If you were to remove a
Spanish guitar loop, dog.
So this is the thing. I think if you were to remove Car from that, and it was just a instrumental album, people would like consider it like musique concrète, or like some ambient shit like Eno or Actress or something like that. And honestly, my favorite moments on the album are the moments where not even the drums drop out, but like the rhythm of it is almost gone. It's like an internal rhythm. You're going off what Kai
is the drum.
He is the drum. So stuff like Touché, Last Place, Ascension.
I am Spartacus.
Those tracks are very like, they don't really hold like a 4/4 rhythm. I mean, there is a 4/4 rhythm in there, but it's just Car. I wonder if he's got a metronome in his headphones when he's doing it. I don't think he does.
I don't think so.
I think
he just writes
and goes off the top. But those are my favorite moments on the album. When I didn't much care for it is when it's like a little more traditional.
Okay. See, I kind of fuck with Ka when it's more traditional like that. For me, when I listen to Ka, and one of the things that I like about it is that Ka is one of those things for me, I have to be in the mood to like deal with it. It's one of those things like you can't always like read a book. You know what I mean? Some days you're not in the mood to read a book. Some days you're not in the mood to watch a YouTube video. Some days you want to watch a movie. Some days you want to watch TV. When I listen to Ka, it is like an endeavor of me doing like intense listening, like so I can appreciate that his style caters directly towards people that want to do that. Like you can't just put on Ka in the background and really enjoy it, because I don't think that there's not enough musical flourishes. No. I mean, maybe if you
Nah, man, you'll end up
you're
dropping
gonna
a weight
pull
on
something.
your head.
I used to listen to Drone when I lifted, because I don't like to be run the jewels bench pressing.
Pumping.
Like I used to go to the gym at 1 o'clock at night, and it just an atmosphere. I just focus on the mind body connection. But with this, it's like there's a lot of motivational bars in this that I feel like you could probably take at the gym.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Let me say this, right? So I started off this album, and I said, like, I was listening to the first 4 tracks, and I said, yo, this really needs some drums, because it was all droning, no percussion whatsoever that was in it. But by the time I got to the 5th track and the drums came in, I was
Is
like,
that drums, or was it just a bass line?
I was like, dude, you don't need drums.
Was it just a heavy bass line, or was it drums?
It's
I
some
thought it was
snares.
percussion,
Okay.
like some.
Yeah, it's like you do better without the
If
drums.
not true, there's the piano run on that, and the little chimes and shit.
This
but-
guy does better.
Even on that track, always rep my hood to the fullest, straight sets.
Well, I was
I'm at the
saying-
gym. You know what I mean?
The guy lyrics are impressive. His
Yeah.
way he strings together stories and his content is awesome. I love that. Like, I was literally here for the lyrics, but the production was cookie cutter and terrible. Like, if just on its own, this album was kind of depressing and emotional and sad. It was sad as fuck, but it had to be, because the content he was talking about.
I mean, it's
real
called
world
Languish
stuff.
Arts and Woeful
Yes.
Studies. His music is very kind of dreary.
But it was super emo rappy. to me. I'm just like, dude, you are really hitting some emotional
Wait. Call that back. Maybe you want to use a different term than emo.
Nah.
I mean, he talked about.
No, we're not doing pretentious again. We're not doing pretentious.
I thought you would be down with it because this is.
I am.
This is that grown man. This is that grown man I've overcome.
But it's emotional as hell. Like this is some emotionally dense music. It's emo rap. It's not like the emo archetype where
I feel like that is a misnomer.
It's
a loaded.
Yeah.
But no, it's emotional as hell, guys.
Okay.
Emotional.
I mean, the term emo denotes something specifically a lot of times when used, but okay.
Okay, I'm not saying
you're saying it's a lot of emotion.
I'm not saying that he's singing like, oh my God, mama's dead. No, he's not singing, right?
Does say that. No, I got the bar right here. My aunties.
On Saturday night.
Yeah. He's not singing it, but the content of a emo rapper is there, and it hits hard because you got a grown man.
This is I've heard Cobb referred to as highbrow gutter, and I think that a lot of this, like I personally wouldn't use the term emo or emotional. I think that this is wisdom bars. This is old dude who made it out, and all of it is just like it's kind of like when you go to the blind master, and the blind master, everything he say, you want to tune into it because there's going to be a jewel in everything, and that's how I listen to it.
Some sadness about this album, though.
Well, he does talk about a lot of the album has parts where he's talking about his relationship with his mother and his father not being there. Those are I would almost say that those are through lines in a few of the tracks. Right. It's there for sure. He does talk quite a bit about to your point. He does talk quite a bit about how hard it's been and how the struggle has shaped him.
You gotta take breaks on this album. Yes.
There's some survivor's guilt there. It's very he's weary in his like brilliance. I think there is a tiredness that very much speaks to the core of this one in particular, Languish Arts. I won't get too much into comparing Woeful Studies because I think I might be the one who's listened to it.
I actually prefer Woeful Studies.
I also prefer Woeful Studies. It's a little jazzier and a little more fun. If that's a word for it. But.
The Chuck Strangers track, the feature with Chuck Strangers, Unindulged, that track is the most conventional on the album. That has actual drums. Chuck Stranger is not doing a lyrical miracle like super deep bars. As far as my first few listens kind of suggest. But I prefer Woeful Studies because there's a certain approach to Cause writing even without drums. Like we were saying, he is the drum on this. A lot of this is very spoken. Yes. I like when he has a bit of a cadence to his rhymes that are a little bit faster. I like when he approaches writing a little faster because I do get kind of like, damn, dog, like, oh shit, like, oh, that was a really deep bar, but fuck, like, I need a shot of coffee to lift myself up. But all that to say is like when you go to like a movie, you expect if you know a genre, you go to the movie to watch that type of genre. Does it succeed at doing the things that you want to be done? You know, is it got a first, second, third act? Is it a heist film? How does it perform against the canon of heist films? And I just feel like for this lane, which he partially created, and for this lane of people that like gritty East Coast raps,
it's done well.
He is undoubtedly at an upper tier.
Yes.
And I didn't find it as deep. So far I haven't found it as deep as Descendants of Cain, but that was like an epic. That was like him really weaving. This is more straightforward raps from him. That the message there's a lot of homonyms and there's a lot of different uses of poetic devices on this littered with it, but it's very much more straightforward than some of the things that he kind of fills his other rap shit with. Like, I mean, it's like some of it is like, well, that's a dope bar, but it's not particularly witty. Like, was just saving the push, kick, flip, wasn't the cheapskate. Like, that's just push, kick, flip, cheapskate. Yeah. Like, I get it. You know what I mean? I mean, it's a great bar, but it's like,
well, how would you want it? Like, what?
No, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that it's more clear and forward than some of his more cryptic, abstract shit. Because he gets like that, and that's and to be honest, like a lot of like, man, I don't know the fucking myth of Sisyphus, like, you know what I mean, like what? That. And people that break it down like, yo, dog, you did a lot on this one. Like, fuck, of course. the person that I read a post about it, and he called it like highbrow gutter, and I was like, that's kind of a brilliant way to describe it. And he started breaking down shit. I was like, dog, I don't listen to music the same way you do. My man got the Book of Myths next to the bars and trying to, I mean, I guess if you know it, you know it. But yeah, some of this shit is just incredible, dog. Like, the bars on this is incredible.
Well, I think this is an album. He has complex themes, and it's a through line. It's a thematic album, and it all fits. It's very coherent. But I couldn't listen to it. Like, I tried to listen to it all the way through. I had to take a break because I was getting emotionally drained. I'm like, bruh, you are killing me. You are beating me across the head with this, dog. I'm like, I don't want to be sad right now.
He does say that himself too. You know what I mean? He says, when you dorm with the roaches every day as long as the solstice. I said my parents ain't have bread. I was born in ketosis.
Emotional damage.
Yeah, I mean, dog can't have bread. He was in ketosis. My man got six-pack from this shit.
All right, I'm ripped.
You know what I mean?
Because I'm starving.
Yeah, but also, like he also raps a lot to me like a motivational speaker. He does really point out like these type of things are things that people had to go through, and you can overcome it. You could figure this shit out. Like if you a deep person, like on Ascension, the second verse, he has a lot of allusions and a lot of lines that are about land and about water. And he has this joint where he's like, if you a deep person, keep searching, amass facts. You know what I mean? Like amass facts. I believe they call him father because you're supposed to get past that. But the way he says father is kind of like further. He's such an expert with twisting words and kind of saying words like all and oil or aunt and nuance that you just kind of like, wow, like sometimes
we call that word building in the business. We bend words.
Yeah, I mean he's incredible. He's incredible with that approach, and I've already picked out a lot of bars from this that are straightforward and just dope, and also ones that are like, what is it? What does it all mean? Like, what is he putting together there? So a lot of layers. Got a lot of layers. That's how I made it through winter in them thin clothes. Layers, dog. Lyrics.
Yeah, bars.
Real hip hop. No, I don't do that. Real hip hop. Lyrics.
I guess if I have any real critique of this album is that because Ka uses the instrumentals as a platform to get a lot of layers across, sometimes it works for me. Like on Ascension, it's it's literally like one string hit over and over and over again, and it works perfectly well for me. I do wish that the instrumentals would either develop a little bit more or have like some degree of nuance to like some of them.
Did he do all the production on this? I didn't do production notes.
Maybe because I say, Dick, I looked for who produced this stuff. It was blank, so I assume it was him.
Self-produced,
right? And it shows because a lot of these tracks are just elementary, rudimental, like
just the loop. But I obviously that's by design. It is intentional,
right?
But it's one node.
Sometimes you do have these kinds of albums that we've reviewed before, even like the Rock Marcy, where it's like you go back and it is a loop. It's very minimal. There's not much going on in terms of drums, but you go back and there's a lot of layers and nuance in the production, like little things getting introduced and removed, plugged in. Alchemist is very good at that. Yeah. On this record, like the first 8 bars sound exactly like the last 8 bars of the beat, like on basically every track. And I do wish there was like a little bit of development or just some little things to listen out for musically on there.
Agree.
I understand that because Ka is so layered in his lyricism, he has chosen to leave a kind of skeletal beat to give himself as much space to work as possible. But as someone who doesn't always consume music in that way, it was quite a difficult listen for me.
It's not a fun listen,
especially compared to Woeful Studies, which is a little bit more interesting production-wise for me.
I have to agree with that. And this is not, I don't think any of us are trying to say that that the music needs to change for him, because this is his intent and that's what the music's supposed to do. But a lot of times for me, my personal listening like method is a lot of the music that I use it as almost like a spell to kind of put me in different moods and move me different ways, more than I use it as like a book to study things. And when and sometimes I do, try to figure it out, like depending on who the artist is. But with Ka, it very much is like I have to have a clear intention of listening to him, because I never put on Ka just to be like, time for me to chill.
Now,
and it's not fun. There's no joy in this album. Ka's music lacks joy. And I get why people don't fuck with
this. Will be an album I would sit a young man down, but let me put you up with some game and teach you how it was. Right? This is a very educational album, but it is taxing on your soul, this album. It's not bad. Once again, this is the first album I've heard without drums. I'm like, okay, I get what you're doing. You don't need drums. Like, your lyrical content can carry this. I was thoroughly impressed. Like I said, he puts me in the mindset of a better Royce the 5'9", but like,
he don't drop the F-bomb.
He doesn't. but
Let's be like,
great album. Just production was one note. It's kind of stale, sad as hell. I cannot digest it as a full album altogether. But I would recommend this album to any young man looking for guidance. This is how you age gracefully in hip hop.
You know, and it's a phenomenal thing to kind of think about a 50-year-old rapper. You know, like a lot of. I've never agreed with rap being a young man's game. I mean, the people that say that are I think are speaking from the context of your success that you can have with youth culture and in mainstream culture.
Why, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, there's a variety of reasons.
When hip hop started, right, it was young people starting it, but now all those people we looked up to, they're old men. Your Ice Cubes, your Jay-Z's. Hip hop has become an Asian platform. There's a lane for the Asian rapper, just like the Asian country star or the Asian pop star, right? It ain't that young thing anymore. It's the number one genre around the world now is hip hop, and you're gonna have to start giving reverence to your elders and the guys that came before you. So all you young dummies out there saying, "Oh, it's a young man's game," you are an idiot.
They make it seem like it's a sport where you're going to lose something.
Right.
But Ka has continued and is a shining example of, you know, he's up there with the Nas, who just as they get older, Nas just dropped like 3 of the best albums he ever did. You know what I mean?
Right. With experience, you get better. Why would you not get better if you still exercising that muscle intellectually?
And he kind of created his own lane. You know what I mean? He didn't bend to the whims of. He didn't do like a Jay-Z where he kind of looked at the hotter artists and kind of pushed the sound and did his own thing. Ka was just like, fuck it, like. No drums. You know what I mean?
But people like you guys are looking for that, right? That's y'all guys' lane, right? Well, it's a lane for that. Me, I'm still looking for trap drums. So that's why when I hear like aging DJ Paul, I'm like, okay, I get it. Because that's where I grew up from. There's a lane for that. You young guys are basically biting off us who bit off other guys' genres. So it's just a continuous cycle.
His full approach is undoubtedly, like he says it on the album, on Family Color, which is like another Spanish guitar loop. He says, digging up my past many moments, I've been exhumed. What they afforded me, thought it be tumultuous in the tomb. Address each cut with the openness of a wound. When I zone and you alone, it's like both of us in a room. And he's just like, listen to me. You know what I mean? You come to listen to me. I provided you what, you know what I mean? Like, this is the conversation. This is hipping you to game. This is telling you how difficult it was. It's not even a time capsule. You know what I mean? He's living history of a past that a lot of people just don't even understand.
And I'm glad you don't understand. Yeah. I don't want you to understand, but just know it happened. Right? Know your history, guys. Bound to repeat it if you don't. So yeah, thank God for people like Ka. However, once again, couldn't digest the whole thing. It's so sad.
I would recommend this album to people who like Kurosawa movies.
Word.
Whoa, that's a great guess.
There's my recommendation.
Word.
You know, it's very long, even though it's a very short album. Like it you know, it's an album that feels its length. There's a lot going on thematically. There's a lot of like multiple meanings and imagery and symbolism to break down, and the whole thing's in black and white.
Yeah, word.
Kurosawa.
I undoubtedly would recommend this to I'd recommend this to aging MCs. I would recommend this to pro-black people who read poetry. I think that you know, even people that aren't pro-black, people that like Chris Mosdell, right? The poet and lyricist from here in Tokyo that work with Yellow Magic Orchestra and he wrote for Michael Jackson. Like he's not a hip hop guy, but if you give this to him, he would find it fascinating, the approach with words. And this is spoken word, this is poetry, this is lyricism, this is real hip hop. Like this is what you're allowed to do in hip hop. You can do anything you want, and Ka is phenomenal at his shit.
And listen to the
home of the brave.
The companion piece to this record, you know, or the other half of this record, Woeful
Studies.
It's sad.
It's a little. I mean, it's called Woeful Studies. It's a little.
It's got another ruined classroom on the cover, but I do think it is more fun than this one.
It's a little bit more up. Like there's a different energy.
There's a different energy to it, and I can see why he split that into two kind of separate parts. They are very similar in a lot of senses. But yeah, maybe you'll get a little bit more out of Woeful Studies in terms of it's jazzier. That's the main kind of thing I would say about it.
Can I get one more little bar run off?
Sure.
On If Not True, the joint with the drums, right? Or bass line or whatever you want to call it. He says, starved belly growl, not very proud of my younger thoughts. Start to bother us. Swift toddler, found them guns we toss. Either vitamin D deficient or damn well another summer loss. Like some are lost, vitamin D, stay in the house. Like, bro, he's crazy with it. He's really incredible, man. Secret House Against the World. Did you recommend this to somebody?
Yeah.
Are we doing that? Is that a thing that we do now? I feel like I like
we
that.
Did it.
You said you wanted to recommend it to like younger cats who.
Okay.
Yes, educational album, dude.
Figure it out. Chuck Strangers is hard on this. I just want to say that one more time.
That feature is fucking sick.
I actually
was not familiar with him.
Chuck Strangers used to be with Pro Era, I think,
really?
right?
Okay,
yeah, right.
Huh.
But recently they become friends, I think, because he was on. I wrote it down. He was on Family Dollar off of Chuck Strangers' Too Afraid to Dance album, and I thought that was a little bit strange, but it works out. And Chuck Strangers is dope. His Consumer Park album that came out maybe 2 years ago, 3 years. He's there. Yeah, I'll check him.
I was not familiar with him, and then
good.
The feature was not listed on Apple Music, so I actually went out of my way to go and check out. Like, oh, yo, who is this guy? Because
I think he's Pro Era.
His verse is fucking dope, and it also brings a little bit of levity to the rest of the record.
Yeah,
and like with the production as well.
It's unusual to have features that are not Rock Marciano and shit. But all right, man. Secret House Against the World.
Secret House.
Shout out to Alchemist, the Beastie Boys.
Shouts out to Aung San Suu Kyi. Shouts out to Ryuichi Sakamoto. Shouts out to Pablo Escobar. All right.
Yeah. I love you, Alchemist. Just letting you know that.
He gonna comment on another one of your videos. Fire beats, fam. Yo, Alchemist is a nice guy.
He is, man. Great guy.
Word. Secret.
Yeah, fuck you, all right.